Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, June 8th, 2016. Thanks for stopping by. I feel good. I enjoyed that whole business with um, those new atheists. That was fun. And I went to their page and I was really surprised to see them showing the video, but just the image of it, not the audio, maybe a snippet of the audio, and saying, see, the audio is so bad, we can't let anybody see the whole thing. And their followers or subscribers or friends were just eating that shit up. I mean, they really believed that nonsense, which I found to be hilarious. And I mean, I don't get it. How can anybody be that naive? Okay. Well, we won the debate, but I just don't want to subject you to this horrible audio. I mean, come on. You know. I mean, sure, the guy that we made the video with wants the video and we won't give it to him, but trust us, guys. We won. That's the party line, I guess. But the part that kind of caught my interest was somebody was saying that 80% of Muslims are bad people. And so how could I defend them? And you notice they're always saying, well, it's not all Muslims. It's just most Muslims. And then if you say, well, you're talking about most Muslims, that's still pretty bad, they say, are you crazy? We're just talking about the majority of Muslims. And then they say, well, it's just 80% of Muslims, so it's practically all of them. You see how that works? They're just edging up as close as they can to all without exposing their asses. So they can still make people hate Muslims and get away with it because they're just saying, oh, it's not all. It's just a majority. And then when you turn your back, oh, it's most of them. And then if you don't catch them there, oh, it's 80% of them. It's whatever they can get away with, okay? But let's think about this for a second. Let's think about what they're talking about exactly. Now, they're talking about they went to Afghanistan and they got out their little clipboards and said, do you think Sharia law is a good idea? And 80% of the people there said yes. Okay, so that is just the guilty verdict on all Muslims. No, not all, just most. Okay. That's the guilty verdict. Okay, so, but no, let's think about this some more. Afghanistan is a tribal society, a traditional tribal society that, is very much cut off from the outside world. Now, think about this. Before the United States invaded Afghanistan, most Afghanis or Afghans didn't realize the United States existed. They'd never heard of the United States, most of them. They didn't know we existed until we showed up with our army. Okay. Now these are people who live very self-sufficient, They farm, they grow their own food, they tend sheep or goats. They get just about everything they need from the sweat of their brow. And they produce no garbage or waste to speak of. They burn no fossil fuels. They live off the land. And they don't care anything about the outside world. All they're interested in is, I'm going to work I'm going to produce. I'm going to provide for my family. We're going to live according to what we were taught and worship God and be good people. Then we die. That's their life. Okay? So, you go to a villager in Afghanistan, this remote mountainous region, and you get out your little clipboard and you say, okay, you think the Sharia law is a good idea? And the guy says, yeah, sure, why not? That's my religion. My religion's a good religion. Why not? Yeah, that makes sense. I'd be okay with that. Kind of busy right now. I'm trying to get the crops in, but sure. And, what do you think about America? What's that? I don't know anything about that. Let me get back to my crops. Okay, but okay, what about jihad? Well, I don't know. The greater jihad is fighting evil in your own heart. The lesser jihad is defending the community from attack by unbelievers or outsiders. Well, I don't know. I mean, look, I got to get back to my crops. I'm kind of busy here. Or, you know what? You look kind of tired. You've been on the road. Come into my house. Here's some bread that I grew and produced and baked. Here's some vegetables that I grew and prepared. Here's some rice that I grew. Oh wait, you look kind of cold. Here's a wool blanket from my sheep. Or here's a cotton blanket that I grew and wove myself. Come into my house that I built with my hands. Sit at my table that I built with my hands. And let's share some food, because Islamic culture is famous for being the most hospitable culture on earth. Look it up. And by the way, sure, if you want to know what I think Sharia would be a good idea. Why not? Have some more bread. Now, these people are simple. They are unassuming. They're hardworking. They're traditional minded. They are peaceful. And they believe in what they were taught as children, that it's a good thing. Now let's look at these people at Nightmare Fuel podcast and at all these other podcasts throughout America that are following Sam Harris or following other new atheists and just standing on their soapboxes and just utterly condemning all of these people in Afghanistan for agreeing when the guy showed up with the clipboard and wanted to know their opinion. Okay, that was the unforgivable sin. Now these people, they're very rich and very privileged, and they play a lot of video games, most of them, and they produce about a ton of plastic garbage a year that ends up in the ocean. They produce who knows how many tons of garbage a year. A lot of it that ends up in the ocean. They burn fossil fuels to mow their yard, to drive their cars, to air condition their homes, to heat their homes. The fossil fuels go into all those tons of plastic that they're constantly throwing into the ocean. They eat hamburgers every day that were made in factory farms. All of this just consumption and consumption and pollution in a world that's rapidly overheating because of global warming. And these people are denizens of this empire that has bombed 14 Islamic countries since 1980 and actively supports genocides all over the world, and actively is the greatest purveyor of violence in the world, and the greatest provider of weapons in the world, the greatest polluter in the world, the greatest consumer in the world, the number one impediment to democracy in the world. Because every time some guy gets elected and wants to implement reforms that help the people, they have a coup d'etat and replace him with a dictator who's friendly to business. Now, junior high kids, don't just chuckle and giggle. Look it up and find out if it's true. It's not a conspiracy theory every time somebody tells you something you don't know. Okay? Just because you can't imagine it, you can't fathom it, and you never were curious about it and never found out about it, that doesn't make it some wackaloon conspiracy theory. It just means you're ignorant and you need to educate yourself. Okay? And so, you people who are right now ending life on this planet, you can pass your judgment on these really simple, unassuming, kind people. Not perfect people. Maybe they have some beliefs that we don't agree with, but they're still, regardless of all that, kind, unassuming, famous for their generosity to strangers, peaceful, God worshiping, which means worshiping that which is good. You can pass judgment on those people because you're rich and you're powerful and they're not. You can bomb them, but they can't bomb you, right? All you have to do is push a button, and they have to strap on a belt. So that makes you the good guy and them the bad guy because you're rich. That's the truth of it. And if somebody, goes to your webpage, they'll find you there posting these memes. I'm talking to you, Nightmare Fuel. Posting these memes about bombing civilians and chuckling and laughing about it, and then going around saying, well, you never intend to bomb civilians. If you never intend to bomb civilians, why do you put memes about it and then chuckle and laugh and say this is what we ought to do to Muslim civilians? Bomb them all. You guys are doing that. And when people hear you talking about how most of the Muslims are bad, but not all of the Muslims are bad, and you spread this hatred and bigotry and xenophobia as far and wide as you can, a lot of people are going to see your filth. And some of those people are going to go out and commit violent acts against innocent people because of you. Not you alone, okay? You weren't the only one they saw doing it, but you were part of it, and it's on your head. And you can convince yourself that you're so superior because these poor villagers who never even heard of your country said, sure, why not? My religion is a good religion. Why not have Sharia law? That's fine with me. But really, I'm kind of busy raising my own food. So come in and share my food if you're hungry. Or help me work. Oh, that wouldn't be a good idea, would it, guys? That would not work at all. The only thing you guys would be working on would be the video games. So, just think about what if an alien came down to this planet and saw you doing what you're doing, destroying this planet and bombing innocent people and chuckling and laughing about the idea of bombing innocent people and then pretending that you never do that and condemning these simple, hard-working, kind people that you never even met because one day some dude showed up with a clipboard and asked them a question. And they said, sure, why not? I don't care. All I really care about is my family and my farm. You're so much better, aren't you? The alien wouldn't let you lick the dirt off of those people's feet. He wouldn't let you touch those people. You would be so far beneath them, you couldn't even see them. If it was really an outside, unbiased observer looking at it, you would be the one being condemned, not those poor villagers in Afghanistan. Thanks for watching. Rich guys.